Hey, welcome to Happiness Bar, where my goal is to share cocktails, content, and happiness. And today, we got another fall craft cocktail coming for you off my little fall craft cocktail ode to film directors cocktail menu. I've got some of my favorites going on. This cocktail is made with tequila, it's made with lime juice, it's made with a red pear and vanilla bean syrup, it's made with a peated scotch, Angostura Bitters that's shaken up, it's super nice and light, so many great fall flavors going on. This cocktail is called the Stanley Kubrick. So we got just a little bit of prep work to do today. All we gotta do is make that red pear and vanilla bean syrup, and we gotta cut and juice some limes. And with all that being said, let's just jump right into the prep work. Tools you're gonna need for the prep. You're gonna need a cutting board. You're gonna need a knife. You're gonna need a kitchen scale. You're gonna need a citrus juicer. You're gonna need a pot. You need a bar spoon or something you can stir with. You're gonna need some mesh basket strainers. You're gonna need a juicer. And you're gonna need some sealable storage containers. All right, guys, so first things first, we're gonna make that red pear and vanilla bean syrup. So, quick pro tip, making this red pear vanilla bean syrup. The night before you make it, I suggest weighing out your sugar, which is 250 grams, and throw your vanilla bean pods into your sugar. That's gonna give the essence of the vanilla bean directly to the sugar. Side note, it's also great if you wanna do that for like your coffee and stuff. You get a little vanilla sugar flavor going on in your coffee, your tea, whatever. So once we process this though, we will take the vanilla beans out, cut them in half, and then we'll put the vanilla bean and everything into the syrup itself. Before we do that though, we are gonna cut and juice our red pears. So for this red pear vanilla bean syrup, what we're looking for is 250 grams of red pear juice, 250 grams of sugar, and 1 vanilla bean pod. So 250 grams usually equates to about 3 pears. I bought 4 just in case I need a little more. Plus I'll have to cut one up for some garnish. So all we gotta do, pretty simple, cut our pear away from the core, just like so. And then we wanna make sure we'll slice these up small enough, yeah, just like that, that they'll fit into my juicer. Now you could use whatever pears you want, guys, really. I just love red pears. I think they are the best pears. I don't like green pears and I don't like brown pears. The red pears, I think, have the best flavor. You wanna get them where they're pretty ripe, they're a little bit soft. This one will have the most juice in them. So let's go ahead and juice up our pears. See if we got enough there. Throw it onto your soft setting if you got a soft setting on here. If you don't have a juicer like this, guys, at home and you want one, go on Amazon or something. Not to give more money to Jeff Bezos, but man, this is where I got it, and these things are pretty cheap and easy to use and perfect for all your cocktail needs. And for your fresh juices at home, if you like, you know, pressing fresh juice. If I said this before, make sure before you do all this, guys, your pears are rinsed really well, right? Since you're pressing them like this, you want to make sure you get everything is really, really clean, so you don't get any kind of funky stuff off of the skins. We got about, that should be good. We're sitting about 300 milliliters, so that should get us 250 grams. Got our red pear juice. I'm gonna set that aside, and before we go getting rid of this cutting board, I am just going to get a nice chunk of this red pear here. All right, I'm gonna cut it now long ways, just like so. And we're gonna cut some nice thin slices all the way down. And we're gonna use this as our garnish. We're gonna make a little fan, a little garnish fan. So when making that little red pear fan, we're not gonna use all these. We'll probably just use maybe like that many. I'm just going to run this skewer straight down the middle, and then we'll just kind of turn them ever so lightly. So now you got this nice pretty little fan here, and we'll set that aside. That way we can use that for garnish later. All right, we are going to grab our kitchen scale, make sure it's on, make sure we place our container on there, then zero it out after placing the container. And we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of red pear juice. Grams. Just a little left over. There it is, 3 pears. Pour that red pear juice into your pot. Next, what I'm going to do, I've already weighed out this sugar. So you're gonna wanna weigh out your 250 grams of sugar here. Like I said, soak your vanilla beans in it overnight and you get a nice little extra added essence of that vanilla bean. So pour that 250 grams of sugar into the pot with that 250 grams of pear juice. Go ahead and take 1 of those vanilla bean pods. You can save the other one, put it in some more sugar so that way you can have some vanilla sugar for your coffee or whatnot. And we are just gonna cut, without cutting ourselves hopefully, right down the middle of this vanilla bean pod, all the way. You want to split her long ways. Go. Just be real careful of your fingers. Soaking it in sugar. The outside of it might be a little bit dry. Okay, we got that, right? Now what we want to do is take our knife, so you can see that, and we're just gonna run the blade flat along the open end of the vanilla bean pod. And you're gonna get all these little specks, all that little vanilla bean specks here. So let me scrape that up on my knife. See that right there? That's all this vanilla bean from the inside of the pod. So scoop that into your sugar. Do the same thing all the way down. Make sure you get it all. Scraping all that off. It might get stuck on your fingers, so just try to get it all best you can. Once you scrape that pod, go ahead and throw that in to the sugar with everything else, because you're just gonna cook it all in, and then we'll get the hearty part of the pod out later. There we go. Throw the pods in there with it, because we'll get the pods out after. Got everything in the pot. Let's go ahead and turn our burner on to medium-high heat. Give it a stir, really make sure everything is well incorporated. And what we want to do is we want to bring this up to a simmer, let all that sugar dissolve. Once that sugar's dissolved, we'll take it off the heat, we'll let it cool for a minute, and we'll strain it through a mesh basket strainer to get all those big vanilla pod pieces out, and then we'll be ready to go with our red pear and vanilla bean syrup. Guys, the syrup's heating up nicely, man. It's such a great smell in the air. You get the pears, you get that vanilla bean. All right, let's go ahead and turn that off to heat. It looks like all the sugar's dissolved. Set that spoon aside, grabbing a storage container and a lid. Wait for that to cool for a minute. I'll go ahead and label and date. Guys, and I say your shelf life on that pear vanilla syrup is up to 2 weeks refrigerated. All right, I think that pear vanilla syrup is cooled enough. I'm gonna grab my basket strainer here to catch all those large pieces of the vanilla bean pod. And we're just gonna strain through. Right, we don't want to strain out the little bits of vanilla bean, just the big pieces. You want that, that's where that flavor sits. That out of there. There it is. Pear and vanilla bean syrup. Ready to go. All right, next bit of prep, we gotta cut and juice our lime. So let's grab our cutting board back, nice and clean, our knife, and I'm gonna grab 3 limes should do it today. As always, guys, if you work with me, you know the process for cutting and juicing citrus. Cut them up, juice them up, and let's double strain them. Once, twice. Lime juice. Good for 2 days. Throw it out on the 3rd day. All right, guys, that's it for the prep work today. We got our red pear and vanilla bean syrup done. We got our limes juiced. We're ready to roll, so let's jump right into making the Stanley Kubrick. I went ahead and put my vanilla pear syrup in this cheater bottle here, my lime juice in this cheater bottle here. We're ready to roll. This is a shaken cocktail, so first thing we're gonna need is our shaker tin. And we're gonna need our jigger. We're also gonna need our glassware. So, working cheapest, most expensive ingredients. First thing we're gonna need is our 3/4 ounce lime juice. And we're gonna need 3/4 ounce of that red pear vanilla bean syrup. We're gonna need 1/4 ounce of our peated scotch. And we're gonna need 1.5 ounces of our tequila. Lastly, 2 dashes of Angostura Bitters. Ice that shaker tin all the way to the top with ice. And let's go ahead and ice our glassware. Seal up that shaker tin. Shake it for 12 seconds. Seconds. Crack that container. Grab both your Hawthorne and your basket strainer. And let's go ahead and double strain this cocktail. I'm just gonna go ahead and float a couple little dashes of Ango right on top. That beautiful little red pear fan we made. There it is, Stanley Kubrick. Let's taste. That Ango on the nose. So nice and delightful, man. Perfect balance of sweet and acid with the lime juice and that red pear vanilla bean syrup. You get a little bit of bitterness actually from the float of that Angostura. A little bit of cinnamon comes through. That tequila, so nice. And you get a little bit of smokiness from that peated scotch. Super fruity from those pears. Like I said, those red pears are my favorite. That vanilla bean comes through nicely. Such a light, bright, beautiful blend of flavors for the fall. One you definitely want to sip, maybe by a little fire, baby. Something to bite the tip off the red pear garnish. Super delicious, super crushable, very tasty. Tequila, peated scotch, red pear, vanilla syrup, lime juice. It all comes together beautifully with that Ango. I love it, I love it, I love it. There it is, guys, the Stanley Kubrick. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Maybe you made it along with me. Maybe you wrote down save for a later date. Either way, let me know how you like it and everything. And as always, guys, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. Become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern to get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone.